Hey guys, this is the Revolutionary Male. My name is Alex, and tonight I'm going to go ahead and cover an article from theeverygirl.com entitled, "So I Thought Hookup Culture Ended After College." It was published on April 6th, 2019 by, what's this person's name? Beth Gillette. All right, let's get into it. Remember when you were young, imagining how wide and vast your dating life would be? No, I don't remember that. For most men, it's not quite that easy. I pictured I'd have at least 5 boyfriends by the time I was 25, all relationships spanning at the very minimum a year or two. The fantasy life that these ladies have is quite underwhelming, if I do say so myself. They would all be so in love with me, of course, but we would have to part ways for school. He would probably go to Ohio State and I'd be at Columbia. My career, that editor-in-chief job, does not welcome baggage. Wow, she just called a relationship with a man baggage. That's nice to hear. Or because we were just growing in different directions. I had it all figured out. Yeah, none of that has really happened yet. Not surprising, since you don't seem to value relationships. When I first came to college, I definitely knew a little bit about hookup culture. You know, this idea that casual sex, such as one-night stands, friends with benefits, etc., reigns above relationships. In this type of culture, people prefer the ease and apathy of simply hooking up over defining a relationship. They would rather Netflix and chill than go out for coffee. I understood that's how college could be and was not all that surprised when it spanned the entirety of my 4 years. Yeah, that's how college may be because that's the dating market that women have created. Women are in control of the sexual selection market. Women are completely in control of the dating market. They set the terms, they set the boundaries, they set everything when it comes to dating. So if dating sucks, at least we know who to blame. Everyone told me it would end once college was over. College is supposed to be the time of your life, and those are years you'll never get back. Live while you're young, as One Direction says. So I embraced it and moved on. Actually, no. See, the way that this used to work is men and women would get together in college and end up getting married and having a family after they graduated. And in fact, for young women especially, and young men too, you'll never be around more single available people at any other point in your entire life than you will be when you're in college. It's just the way that is. And people used to recognize, to take advantage of that. Women especially used to recognize that it was a good idea to take advantage of that. But not anymore. Now, if a 19-year-old guy and a 19-year-old girl meet in a college classroom someplace, that 19-year-old guy knows, for the most part, there's no way he can compete with the 28-year-old guy that she can get outside of college. The 28-year-old graduate student or the 30-year-old entrepreneur. Because women like to date men up, like to date up. They like to date men who are superior to them socioeconomically, and the harsh reality that we have learned, that is the harsh reality that we have come to confront in the dating market now, is that women are going to college to get degrees and to become independent women. They're not going to college to meet men, start relationships, and have families. So what are we really talking about here? I've always been somewhat mature romantically and emotionally. I'm sure you have. So I began dating up and meeting men who were out of college already, see? I was ready for a relationship, and the men I knew were not. So I hopped on Bumble and expected a flood of responses for dates. Isn't that nice, being a woman and just knowing you're going to get a shit ton of options for dates? You don't have to work for it. Men, even men like me, and I'm not ugly, have to work our asses off to get good with women. I was ready to scope out tons of new coffee shops and had a list ready for potential restaurants. Yeah, that was about 6 months ago, and I haven't been on a date since June. Interesting. Everyone told me hookup culture ended after college, but I have yet to meet any guy in his 20s who was interested in starting a relationship. Why? Maybe there's no benefit to it. Maybe the men you're dating are not relationship minded. There's a variety of reasons here. One of the main ones being that relationships aren't as valuable as they once were, because us men don't really get much out of them. Not the way that we used to. Certainly not the way that we used to. In marriage, let's not even talk about marriage, because marriage is an entirely different arrangement than it was 50 years ago. There's absolutely no benefit for men now unless you want to have kids. Honestly, any single man who gets married and isn't planning on to have children should have his, head examined. He's got something seriously wrong with him. Let's continue. Well, to start, I think dating apps play a big role. Apps have made it easier than ever to meet people and initiate hookups. Yes, for women. Not for men. Maybe for the top 20% of men who are having sex with, 80 to 90% of the women. But for most men, dating apps have not made dating any easier. You meet once, and he or she never texts back. Yeah, she never texts back. You can tell that this woman has never looked at dating from the man's perspective. Then you spend the next night on Bumble again, trying to find someone new, and the cycle continues. We spend almost a dozen hours a week playing a game of hot or not as we swipe left and right on our phones. This is bound to make people feel a little uneasy about starting a relationship. I don't know if it's making people feel uneasy about starting a relationship, but it can definitely influence the paradox of choice. It can definitely create these circumstances for a concept like paradox of choice to take hold. Paradox of choice is a theoretical framework which says that if a person is given way too many options, it makes it difficult for them to actually make a choice. If they're given a limited set of options, then they actually have enough information that they can make a choice, because they don't have this idea in their head that they might find something that's a little bit better. And again, this paradox of choice does not exist for men on dating apps. This only exists for women. Hookup culture has also affected how we view relationships in the long run. Again, for women. Because the only ones hooking up are women. Men ages 18 to 29 are experiencing more sexual celibacy than at any point in American history. The rates have doubled over the last 5 years. I think it went from 15% of men between the ages of 18 and 29 went 15% hadn't had sex in the last year. It's now 30% haven't had sex in the last year. Think about it. If you spent those formative years, 18 to 22, thinking that casual sex and hookups are the types of love you want and need, how else would you know what a relationship is supposed to be? I almost never get invited out for dinner, but I get asked to come over and watch a movie quite frequently. Is this because men suck? Possibly. No, it's not because men suck. Maybe your dating profile sucks. Or what do you have, a bunch of bikini pictures on there? Women control dating apps. Women control dating. So you as a woman, because you get to pick, you have complete control over the men you select. And depending on what your profile looks like, what's written on there, what kind of pictures you have, you're going to get a certain caliber of man. Okay? And depends on how good looking you are as well, of course. However, if that's what our culture tells young men and women dating is, it's hard to expect them to know any different. Again, men are not the problem here. Don't get me wrong. I am sex positive. I am as sex positive as they come. I completely understand the benefits and strengths of hookup culture. Women don't have to conform to old ideas of sex and intimacy anymore, and I'm here for it. However, I also wish there was a way to keep the benefits of a hookup culture without always feeling like I'm a burden for wanting more. Well, you can't have one and the other at the same time. They're mutually exclusive. You can't date around like a SLUT and not date around like an SLUT. What the hell are you talking about? You can't have it both ways. You got to choose one or the other. Because that's the thing. If you're a woman who dates around this way, the kind of men that you're going to select and attract are not going to be men who are relationship minded. And trust me, there are plenty of men out there who are relationship minded. The women just aren't interested in them. I wish I could finish this with some magic cure-all. I wish I could finish this. I wish I could finish this with some magic cure-all I've used to find the perfect relationship. But this is an issue I'm actively dealing with in my own dating life. That was a weirdly structured sentence. I don't have a quick fix because I haven't quite mastered how to deal with a hookup culture when it isn't exactly what I want. Don't engage in it. It's not that difficult. I have, on the other hand, discovered how I can change my own perceptions and ideas of dating to better suit my needs. That's the right way to do it. I'm defining what I want first and foremost. Bumble's newest update has a feature allowing you to note what you're looking for and filter your potential matches that way. I have officially ticked the relationship box on both ends. No more, well, maybe a hookup can turn into a relationship, or just this once. I know what I want, and I am refusing to accept anything less. Easier said than done. Of course. Yeah, because the guys that she wants, undoubtedly, are guys who have options. Guys who are attractive and successful. Men that the kind of men that most women want. And if you're that guy, why are you just going to settle for any particular woman when you have your options open? Especially because for men, as the older we get, the more we come into our prime, the more options we get. I have more options now in the dating market than I had when I was 20. Of course. So why in the world would I settle for the kinds of women I was able to date when I was 20? Especially when I can still date 20-year-old women. If I'm that guy. If I'm that, if I am the attractive, successful, options open man. Think about it from our perspective, lady. Think about it from the man's perspective. And then find something else that you have to offer that adds value to his life beyond sex. In my journey to rid my life of casual hookups, she continues, I'm also making a note to meet more people in traditional and unique ways. Dating apps are fun and all, but many people before me found love in ways other than swiping right. I have always sworn off the ideas of dating my cable repairman or meeting a guy at a coffee shop because I was pessimistic it would never actually happen to me. While I'm still quite skeptical, I'm not letting my own dating insecurities ruin my chances of meeting someone great. And that's the end of that article there. And I'm going to go ahead and read the other articles that she cites here. Let's see. So the article that she just hinted at, I'm having a hard time talking tonight for some reason, where she talks about her dating insecurities. But I'm going to do that in the next video. Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. If you disliked it, please hit the dislike button and tell me why. I am open to hearing your criticisms because I'd like to do this better. If you have any questions or concerns or stories that you'd like to share with me, go ahead and email me at therevolutionarymail@gmail.com. I would greatly appreciate that. Again, my name is Alex. This has been The Revolutionary Mail. Thank you for watching.